differently because of your ethnicity?
I'll start, and I'm just going to start by putting something out there. I'm Black. And I know that might sound funny to you all, but I say that because the question was, when you were a teenager, did people ever treat you differently? And I think I have a different perspective than some, because I think that a lot of people don't realize that Black people come in all different shades. And I mean, I'm being completely honest here. I think a lot of people don't realize that. And so when I was growing up, it wasn't as obvious. And so the thing that people said to me a lot is, what are you? I got that question all the time. And it used to really bother me because I didn't want to see race. I didn't want to see it because I thought that we lived in this perfect world and that race shouldn't matter anymore. You know, the civil rights movement had happened, we've gone past that, and we should live in a place where people don't see race. But the reality of it is that people do see race. And, you know, whether in a good way, in a stereotypical way, people see race. And that's something that I had to kind of come to grips with as a teenager while I was here at St. Cecilia, is realizing that it's okay to talk about race. When people ask me, what are you? That's an opportunity for me to tell them and for them to learn something new as well. So for me, it was kind of, while I was at St. Cecilia, I encountered that question a lot, and before St. Cecilia, and after, and today. It's something that I'm constantly faced with, but I'm so much more comfortable with it. I love to tell people about my family history, and you know, hope that they learn something from it too. So that, my experience was more of a, you know, what are you? And also just kind of walking that line that, you know, jokingly people would say to me, you know, oh, you could have passed back in the day, which was a thing that people did. And so really just coming into my own self and understanding race so that I can help other people understand it better too.
So I think I experienced just kind of a few things when I was a teenager, but it kind of like what Nicole was saying. Sometimes in the medical field, things kind of would be, just being a female and being Black was always kind of, not an issue, but just kind of something that people would just, you know, like you said, notice. I work in a small town outside of Tennessee, northeast of Nashville, and it's so funny because it's like they describe, my patients and the parents describe me, and my receptionists were like, you know, who did you see? And they're like, well, the Black doctor. Like, why are we whispering? Which is fine, that's okay. Or yesterday I was a skinny little girl, so it's weird how it's described. But it's always interesting being in this small town, and it's funny because there's just those still small town issues. Like my receptionist told me once that one parent, you know, called me the color doctor because she's nice. Like, it's probably for them the first time that they've seen a female doctor who just so happens to be Black. And it's kind of like rocked their world. And I think it's kind of funny. And I think it's funny when I walk into a room and they just have this look like, hi, I'm Dr. Smith. They're like, that's not what I expected. I'm like, what were you expecting? I just don't have anything else to say. But it's just one of those things you deal with, and just kind of like Nicole was saying, I like talking about it and kind of making a joke about it. If I were to get angry, you know, every time someone called me, you know, the color doctor, I'd probably be upset all the time. It's just not worth it. So instead, I just talk to the patients and talk to them and just say, I'm kind of breaking down walls that I didn't realize I'd be tearing down by just being a female doctor who happens to be Black in a small town.
I think all of us have similar stories. And I was telling some of the young ladies when I first came to St. Cecilia, I am a graduate of St. Vincent, which was at the time the only African-American parochial school in Nashville. And when I came here, it was such a culture shock for me because at St. Vincent, I looked like everybody else. And when I came here, you know, I was overwhelmed. I was scared because I didn't know how my classmates would treat me. I didn't know how I would be received by the student body. And it was a very, I remember my first day of school, I didn't want to get out of the car. Not that anyone had ever said or done anything to me prior to coming, but it was the same fear. It was the fear of the unknown. And my parents at that time were the main influence that you need to go. You need to experience something new. It will be an education experience for you and will also be an education experience for your classmates. And it really was. I don't have any negative memories of being here at St. Cecilia. My classmates were always very loving and accepting. The girls that were older than I was at the school were also very loving and accepting. And to talk about experience that Nicole and Dr. Smith have had, I just think that's part of being African American. It doesn't matter what age you are. I still have some incidents of that in my life. I don't even pay attention to it anymore. I don't let it stop me being for who I am. And it never has in the past, and it will in the future.